It's time for Tackling Tech with Indy. That's me. Let's work to help push your tech skills to a new level.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do part 2 of our Boxlight instruction here. I want to make everything in short snippets for you so it's easy to consume and you can learn as we go along, or you can watch them all however far you want. So thank you for joining me today, and we're going to talk about the tools that pop out on our sidebar when we do this, or our Android tools within our Boxlight projection. So what we're going to look at first is, I want to remind you that we can have Chrome here and open it, and we can search for whatever we want. And if we want baby dogs, now we've got images of cute little baby dogs, and they're there. So we have those there. We also have other things open. So what I want to show you is when we click on the home button, we go back, we have all of these things that we open, the Finder, which opens folders, which we can save stuff in, all of that. So the home button always takes us back to this screen. I am not connected with my computer yet. I am just operating everything through the Boxlight at this moment. The next tool or function that you will see underneath the green home button is a blue circle that looks like two windows on top of each other, and that's exactly what it is. It is our cascading windows. It shows you what windows you have open within your Boxlight. So this is really cool. You can take it and just swipe it away, and it goes away. And that's really awesome. The other thing that you can do here is you can actually do a split screen. So if you press an application and hold it, you will see on either side that I've gotten a gray window. I can take that over and lock it in. And now my notes have moved over here. And when I open my notes and functionality on my pen, we can actually take notes side by side with the kids and copy what is over here in our information and transfer it over here to the notes. Then when we're done, we can click the hamburger menu on our notes and save it into whatever file we want here. So I'm just going to save it into notes and say OK. I can change my file to say dog notes and click OK. And now if I were to go back and open this and say open, underneath my notes is dog notes that I saved within my screen and my windows. So that is your split screen tool. Again, you can, when you're in split screen and you see those cascading windows, you can just slide them to delete them, and they're going to go away, and it's going to tell you that you don't have any more. And there you go, you're back to your home screen once you've slid it away, and it tells you that you don't have any more. The next function is the purple. Looks kind of like our unplugged logo, but it has an infinity loop with a pin. This is our notes. So when you open your notes screen, it is going to open up. I think most of them are defaulting to black when you open up. There are several things that you can do here and several functions that are pretty cool in this whiteboard. So when you pop open the whiteboard, you can start a new file, open, like I just showed you, save. You can import files from your Google Drive, an image, a PNG, whatever. So let's say that I want to import a PDF. I can do that either from in here or from my cloud drive. When I go into my cloud drive and find a PDF, I don't know where there'd be one. But anyway, you can open up anything in here that's there, and it doesn't have any PDFs, so obviously it's not going to open because it's looking for PDFs and it doesn't have any. So I'm going to cancel that out, but you can import and bring those in. Go to your cloud storage. You can change your background colors. So if you want like an old-fashioned green chalkboard, you can default to the old-fashioned green chalkboard and tell it OK. You can also, there's also the others, and you can also work on the brightness as well. The pins we talked about earlier are, there's a small one and a fat one, and you can actually control the colors of those pins. So when you open this up here, I don't know that you can see this. Well, I'll show you on a trick that I'm going to show you here in a little bit. When you open up the pins, well, it went away. That's not going to help. you can try this. When you open up the pins, there's two. There's a first one is kind of rounded. That is your fat pin. Okay, so it's the one with the fat end. I'll come back and show you which one I'm talking about. Maybe it'll focus on it. So that is the first one. This with the narrow point is the second end, second pin. So I'm going to change the fat one to a pencil. I'm going to make it green. And I'm going to change the narrow one to a paintbrush and make it purple. And then when I write with the narrow one, I'm writing purple. When I write with the fat one, I'm writing green. So you can write purple and green with the two pens by changing the colors. That's opening the pen, changing the colors. There is a set block of colors here. You can go and change into any of the colors of the rainbow through this multi-tooled colored box. You can change the size. You can also change the style from pencil to paintbrush to, I don't know, like a fine point marker thing. So that's really thin, probably can't even see it because I moved the thinness down. If I widen it up, change it to pink. There you can see that it is different. You also then can go back to the arrow here and click on this, and then you get a rotational, and you can rotate it and move it and expand it and contract it as you want. Change the colors on it to a different color once you freeze it by using your arrow tool. Make it smaller, make it bigger, those kinds of things. The third tool in is the erase tool. This erase tool erases what you've crossed over. So when everything is touched and it's kind of got a red dotted line, those things are going to erase that have the red dotted line. The trash can is simply that. It's a trash can and dumps you into the trash. You have shapes, so you can draw, come on, there we go. So you have 3D shapes and 2D shapes, arrows, straight lines. So you can draw a sphere. You can go on here and draw this one, a book, because we gotta love books. The other thing that's really cool about the board is that it's an infinity board. So if I go back to the arrow and I want those out of the way, I can just scroll them out of the way. And it's an infinity board. It goes on forever and ever into infinity. And then once I draw on here, I need to turn on my pen again. Once I draw on here and I draw some more and I get rid of that, go back here and I infinity that out. What I can do at some point when I've got all that stuff on is that I can go back to the arrow and I can shrink it in. And it will shrink in and show me everything I have on those boards. If I add more pages, so I can add a page here, and this is page 2, whoops, pen again. This is page 2. Then I press and hold the numbers down here, and it shows me what's on each of my pages. So it comes up kind of like a PowerPoint display and shows you up. And again, it's an infinity board. You could go and whiteboard for the rest of your life. It kind of reminds me, showing my age here, but the little plastic scroll that your science teacher rolled across his overhead, and by the time we were done, it was this thick at the end of the year, and he just kept scrolling it, and it got bigger and bigger across the overhead. So when you trash those, this one is just a hand eraser, and then this is more of an artist's palette. It switches it to white. You have pens, pencils. You can radiate the colors. So if you choose a color, you can go and radiate it from darkness to lightness and use it more in an artistic manner, which I am not. So, but I could be Bob Ross and I could draw a happy little tree, change it to a brown, radiate that brown because I want it more of a brown color. And there is my tree trunk. I'm gonna go here and brown. There we go. Oh, that gives me some brown, some blackies. And then I'm gonna bring my fineness down, and I'm gonna bring. Oh, that did not go very fine. All right. Well, gotta go back here and finish that as a highlight. Go to my thin pencil and draw some shading in. So you can see how you could draw and make drawing on here, and drawing is very easy using that last function on our tool board. All right, so I save that again, go back here, clears it out, takes me back to my hamburger menu, and again, I am doing all of those things. So that is the whiteboard. Lots and lots of options with your whiteboard and using it as you do things. The next one is our pencil tool, okay? So the pen or pencil is going to freeze over the top of your screen. I'm actually going to go out of this, and I'm going to go out of my whiteboard. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to open Chrome and my dogs. So then we go to the pen and pencil tool. That pen and pencil tool pops out, and now I can say, this is the dog's eye, this is another eye, this is his nose, and he needs to come to my house, right? So we can say all of those things and work through it. This toggles between 4 colors. You have red, black, blue, green, and those are the only colors you have on that. The only way to erase this is to sweep it out. You can save what you've drawn on. You can also highlight. The highlighter toggles through 4 colors as well. The thing about this one is it does kind of freeze your screen so that you can draw on it. You cannot individually draw and draw separately like you can on the whiteboard and only erase parts of it. You will sweep away everything when you hit the erase button. You can still be on the draw tool and draw with your finger as well. And again, the erase tool erases it. So that is the pen tool. When you drop out of the pen tool here. This tool with the square and the box is a new tool. It's kind of a light blue. It's a square inside a square. When you click that one, this is the snippet tool. So if I want to say, I would really like to use this picture, I can find it. I can pull my tool there. I can drag and drop it to be on my picture. Fine tune it by dragging it in, dragging it up. Then I'm going to hit save, all right? Then it's going to save to my notes and it's following this path. There's also the EMC squared that's there, and that takes that immediately to my whiteboard. And then I can expand it out onto my whiteboard and do things with it within my whiteboard. So that is the snippet tool, which allows you to take snippets of your screen and put them on your whiteboard or save them. The next one is kind of like, it has the Wi-Fi signal with the 3 squares. It's a darker blue. This is just where you can use Android apps to connect to your phone. If you need an IP address, you can connect to the IP address. The PIN number scan with an app device. If you ever need to go back to where you're sharing in your home button, you can actually do this floating teacher and it will allow you to do that. You can see what computers are connected here. I'm not sure that you'll go into this portion a whole lot. The following one is a different color blue. It's kind of a square in the corner and a bigger square with an arrow pointing out. When you click on that one, it freezes your screen. So I'm going to go back to my home screen, and when I click on this, it's going to freeze my screen. I can expand it and say, okay, so we're looking at the time. This is the time. I can bring it back down to regular size. I can also click here to expand it, here to subtract it. So it's kind of a zoom feature to extend it to all corners and to make it go away. This would be a great function if you wanted to freeze something up on your screen while you're sharing and go to your computer and look at, take attendance and those kinds of things. So you freeze your bell ringer up here with the third from the bottom, the blue. You freeze your bell ringer there and then go to your computer, take attendance, and then come back. You can then freeze your bell ringer and go from there. So that is really cool as far as that goes. I'm going to open my whiteboard again just for effect. The next tool, looks like a wrench and a screwdriver. You're going to click on that. It has 3 features that are always here. A spotlight where you can go and you can spotlight and go, is this the cutest dog? Or is this the cutest dog? And expand it. You can move that spotlight around. Change the brightness of it. The scale of it here too. How much bright and dark it is. And those kinds of things. So you can change the scale of it using your hand. You can also change the scale using your, there we go. using your fingers. And that's there. You can exit out of it with the X, and you're back to the screen that you want. This also has a countdown timer. It counts down and rings. So start it, and it counts down and it rings to indicate that time is up. And you can pause it, reset it. This is movable to wherever you want it to be on the screen as well. The other function here is your stopwatch, same functionality, except it's just a stopwatch. It actually has a lap function, so you can say, oh, you were the first one to turn your paper, you were the second one, you were the third one, whatever. And so the stopwatch functionality is there as well on the Boxlight. The final tool is the two slider tools. This will control the volume on your monitor. It will also control the brightness of your monitor. And it will control, you can select whether you're on Android, HDMI, or VGA. If you click on the three dots, you will get some control functions within that app that you are on. So you can control the volume here, you can control the balance on whether it's right or left. It can be in standard class view. You control the screen and how the pixels shift, the display contrast, and you can also adjust the position. So some of that is blacked out depending on what you're in, but some of that will work as well. And that's the three dots on the general settings within that bottom tool slider ball. So this session of Boxlight tools really has just focused on using your Boxlight tools for that are built in. We will next talk about connecting to our computer.